Yes, but we all agree that the actors aren't actually going to jump on its head, right? If we're going to burn the draft cards, then we have to ensure that we have working and non-expired fire extinguishers backstage. Did you want a pogo stick or stilts? Or a pogo stick and stilts? No, you can't freeze egg salad. When you thaw it out, it's a runny mess. I don't have what you would call typical theatrical conversations. Not that I'm sure that that's even a thing. I don't because I'm what you call a properties designer, or master, or coordinator, depending on the company you work with. It all means the same thing. I borrow, buy, or make every prop that you see on stage. Now, a prop is anything that an actor touches that isn't the wall, the floor, or costumes. And even then, hats, purses, and watches live in this very bizarre gray area. Now, props are, in my opinion, one of the most underappreciated and underrated and undervalued of the technical theater professions. We don't even get a Tony Award. Now, what you have to understand is props can be anything. Props can be everything. And if a prop was missing from your favorite play or television show, you would notice. Think about Hamlet with no skull of Yorick for him to blabber at. Or Sweeney Todd without shiny, silvery razor blades. Props are used as forward movement for any plot, so without them, every play or script ever written would have giant gaping holes in their plots. Now, because of this, before I am allowed to borrow, buy, or make anything, I have to get it okayed by the set designer and the director to ensure whatever I am bringing to the table goes along with the world that they are trying to create and continues to move the plot forward. This is done by a series of what is called production meetings, where all designers meet together, hyped up on coffee and generally nicotine, and sit down and discuss time period, color scheme, budget, and overall schedule. I've come with a list of every single prop that has been mentioned in the script that I have read and reread and read again. Every single prop I have written down is gone over in detail that it will never be gone over again. Did you want a powdered donut or an unpowdered donut? How long is the rope? What are we doing with it? How thick must it be? Now, does the broom need a metal handle or a wooden handle? Is there a preference for color for the pillowcases? Once we have agonizingly gone over everything, I am let loose, in a matter of speaking. Over the years, I have designed a plethora of things, ranging from the mundane to the bizarre. There was the 3-tiered wedding cake that had to be frosted and completely decorated. But the key was the top layer had to be taken off every single performance, smashed into an actor's face. But the frosting had to be cleaned up every single evening with nothing more than a damp cloth because we neither had the time nor the budget to have the antique tuxedo dry cleaned every evening. There was the actor that requested non-caloric beverage to be the fake white wine in a production and assured me that this could be accomplished with 1 drop of yellow food coloring. For those that are taking notes, 1 drop of yellow food coloring in a wine bottle full of water is pee. 7 is white wine, but apparently is not very palatable. There was the dummy that I had to make that had to sustain 38 shows of being beaten the crap out of by the actors, that also had to be around 6 feet tall to mimic the size and body shape of the actor that it was going to have to stand in for. This problem was solved by 5 rolls of extra long white duct tape, 1 10-pound box of polyfill, and 1 very large favor owed to one younger brother. Now, let's talk about furniture. We can't forget that. Actors touch furniture. There was the couch I had to find that could be no more than 65 inches long. I found a 70-inch 1960 sleeper sofa that probably weighed 200 pounds. And it wasn't until after that younger brother I mentioned that I owed a favor to, it wasn't until after he and I had lugged this stupid thing on to the stage that the director thought, this might not work. I then proceeded to prance around said sofa and fake faint in between it and the armchair to prove to him, without a shadow of a doubt, that the actor he had blocked to do the same movement every night would not, in fact, crack his head open on the armrest of the chair. It worked. I have made fake food, matching luggage, and do you recall that finalized list I mentioned? Don't get too secure in that. There's nothing like waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning to find an email that says, "Good morning, Sarabeth. Do you recall the fake fish we didn't need? Turns out we were wrong. Needs to look like it weighs 15 to 25 pounds, fit in the cooler you've already provided, and if we could have it by the end of the week to practice with, that would be swell." Sure, I got one of those lying around. Over the years, I have asked my friends for the most bizarre things. At this point in my life, I do believe I probably have a mental running inventory of every single one of their garages, basements, and attics. No longer do they blink an eye on Facebook when Sarabeth starts asking for suitcases, hula hoops, or tackle boxes. I am on a first-name basis with everyone at Joann Fabrics and can teach you how to use just about any coupon you need, as I pride myself in coming in on time and under budget. I never know what I'm going to make until I get that script, sit down and crack it open with a highlighter and my legal pad. Will it be 20 items that I can find in my girlfriend's attic? Or 80 items, 20 of which need to be homemade, one of which takes 1/3 of my $250 budget, and 3 of which I can't find anywhere in God's creation? But for me, that's what keeps it interesting. That's what keeps it fun. That's what keeps me learning new techniques and, quite honestly, inventing a couple questionable ones. So the next time you go to the theater and you sit down in your very comfy seat and you wait for the lights to come up, take it all in. Take in the beautiful sets, the wonderfully choreographed giant musical numbers. Admire the actors and all of their performances. But do me a favor. Take a minute and appreciate a coffee cup, or a suitcase, or the clock on the wall, because somebody spent hours and days and weeks and emails and telephone calls and meetings while they occupied their 3-year-old with stickers on the floor to ensure it all made sense, to ensure it was the right color, to make sure it wasn't too heavy and wasn't going to fall off, to ensure the actor wasn't going to give you another email about how they didn't care for how the egg salad tastes. So just take a minute and think. Because somebody, and maybe me, had to borrow, buy, or make everything you're looking at.